Coming up next on SportsCenter, we'll step into the booth and tell you where we stand on the issues like education. We'll take a look at a curious way to disperse student loans in our cover story tonight.
Doesn't bother me none.
Health care. Who's going to pay for these injuries? Family values, getting to the bottom of the gambling allegations at Boston College.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Character. Is there anyone who has more of it when the pressure's on the line? Welfare. Just how well will the Lake Show fare tonight on Broadway? And politics. James Carville, yeah, that James Carville will report on the Redskins' surprisingly solid season. The vote is in. It's SportsCenter by a landslide, and it's next. And so, my fellow Americans, on this election day 1996, I think we've beaten this election thing to death, haven't we? We promise you nothing but 60 minutes of SportsCenter with a smattering of paid commercial announcements. I'm Charley Steiner, along with running mate Robin Robertson. I think we've said enough. We begin with the Shack playing at the Mecca.
I thought I was Cokie Roberts there for a minute. Charlie and I would make a heck of a ticket. Doubt there are any tickets left for tonight's Knicks game, though. That's because the big guy invades the Big Apple tonight. Shaquille O'Neal's only trip to New York this season, and his first wearing a Lakers uniform. He currently leads the league in scoring with 58 points in 2 games, both victories for L.A. The Knicks are also 2-0 so far this season. Keeping with our election theme, it's early in the NBA race, but unlike the presidential election, tonight's game, too close to call.
It's a big game, definitely. You know, both of these teams are very talented, and it's very early, so it'll be a big test for both of us.
They're a good team, we're a good team. It's going to be a good test for us, you know, try to make a statement early in the season. Some people are picking them to win it, some people picking us, so you know, we're going to see what happens tonight.
Yes, the season is young, but here's an early gauge. The Knicks traded for more offensive punch. It shows. Way up in scoring, averaging 110 points so far this year. The Lakers scoring is off, but they're currently tied with Detroit for first in defense, allowing just over 83 points a game. A bit later in the hour, we will have more on Shaquille O'Neal's appearance on Broadway tonight. Stuart Scott is in New York, and we'll have more Shaq stuff for us later here on SportsCenter.
But now to the NFL. Are the Arizona Cardinals the New York Jets of the West, or the Jets the Cardinals of the East? Both teams have horrible records and, more amazingly, even worse luck. Now it is the Cardinals' turn to lose their starting quarterback, and in an incredible example of black humor orchestrated by the football gods, Ken Graham tore a ligament in his left knee on Sunday in a non-contact injury on the artificial turf of the ballpark that houses the woe-begotten Jets. The Cardinals say that Graham's going to be sidelined at least a month, so Boomer Esiason's going to get his old starting job back, and his understudy is going to be Stoney Case. As a starter in Arizona, Ken Graham has won as many games as he's lost, which makes him more than a Cardinal try-sainthood. The reason for his relative success in the Valley of the Sun is his touchdown to interception ratio. And Boomer Esiason's next TD pass in Arizona will be his first. Also in Arizona, Kevin Butler's been signed to replace Greg Davis, who missed 3 field goals from less than 33 yards over the past 2 weeks. The 34-year-old Butler was waived by the Bears during the preseason. And the 2-7 New Orleans Saints have lost their 2-time Pro Bowl offensive tackle William Rofe for at least 4 weeks with a partially torn ligament in his right knee. Rofe in the first year of an 8-year, $25 million contract. And within the hour, the Vikings have signed free agent running back Leroy Horde. He will replace Robert Smith, who is out for the season. And in Chicago, the Bears have signed journeyman linebacker Kerry Cash to take the roster spot of Brian Cox. He, of course, is done for the season. Robin.
The news continues to be encouraging for the Bengals' Scott Brumfield. He still has limited use of his leg since injuring his spine Sunday, but the lineman is confident he will play football again. Brumfield, who has full use of his upper body, remains in fair condition at a Baltimore hospital. He could be released as early as tomorrow and transferred to a Cincinnati hospital. Brumfield was injured when he collided with teammate Tony McGee. He has no recollection of this hit or the game for that matter. Brumfield says he's going to battle through this and be 100% again, Charlie.
Tomorrow, when Major League Baseball's owners meet in Chicago, it is expected that more than a quarter of them will vote to reject the new proposed labor agreement. If that should happen, they are expected to be several domino effects at play, and none of them good, including the resignation of the owner's negotiator, Randy Levine, the players' rejection of interleague play, and the Players Association's refusal to sit with the umpires and the owners in an off-season summit. Robin.
Some late developments tonight in the Boston College gambling probe story. Eagles head football coach Dan Henning has acknowledged that some sort of problem with players betting on football games exists and hinted that suspensions were imminent. And according to today's Boston Globe, 3 of the 4 sophomores at the center of gambling allegations at BC have admitted to betting on football games but deny wagering on games involving Boston College. Citing unnamed sources, the Globe reported that at a team meeting last Saturday, more than 24 other players admitted gambling on events other than BC football games. ESPN has learned that the Middlesex County District Attorney is leaning towards dropping its investigation and sending its findings back to the college. An investigator from the NCAA is due to arrive on the BC campus today. Earlier in the week, the odds makers in Nevada had no line on the Eagles game with Notre Dame this Saturday. Harris and Reno released a line today, making the Irish a 22-point favorite on the road. Bonnie Bernstein is in Boston, and later in the hour, we'll have the latest concerning these gambling allegations.
Horsepower now. Alan Paulson sold his 75% interest in Cigar today to Ireland's Coolmore Farms, a deal worth about $25 million, but Cigar will remain in Kentucky living La Dolce Vita, retired to stud. By the way, if you had a mare and you wanted to set her up with Cigar for one day or a night, it would cost you $75,000. Gots to be the genes.
Gotta be. Earlier this year, Stefan Edberg announced the Stockholm Open in his native Sweden would be the last tournament of his illustrious 14-year career. The former #1 player in the world and winner of 6 Grand Slam singles titles faced fellow Swede Niklas Kulti today in the first round. The sellout crowd clapped for Edberg between virtually every point, but he still lost in straight sets, 7-6, 6-3. Edberg, such a gentleman on and off the court, will still play Davis Cup, but at 30 years old, this is his last ATP tournament. Edberg's 41 singles titles include 6 Grand Slam championships. Now, these numbers here tell you about what he accomplished on the court. He has also been recognized as one of the game's true sportsmen and role model. In April, he won the ATP Tour Sportsmanship Award for a record 5th time. In fact, the tour is renaming the award in Edberg's honor.
Well deserved. Still ahead on SportsCenter, an ESPN News investigation on one man who pays high school football players. Would that make those players ineligible once they play at the college level? Also ahead, it's getting to be old hat for John Elway. Another fourth quarter comeback. We'll have a look at what may end up being his best year of all. And in Washington, an unexpectedly good season for the Redskins. Our reporter who knows a little thing or two about D.C. coming up.
They've exploited opponents' defenses, they've exposed weaknesses, and they've fought back. You know, when I stop and I think about these guys, they remind me of another fella I know. A fella from a small town in Arkansas. A fella from a place called Hope.
Call it strength. One of the world's largest insurance and investment groups. Call it trust. $300 billion in assets under management. Call it global. 56,000 people working hands-on in 23 countries. Call it vision. Give clients an even better chance in a changing world.
Call it AXA. Here you know us as the Equitable. AXA. Go ahead. You can rely on us.
Aluminum, thin and lightweight, it's what most new car radiators are made of, and that makes them a big target for pitting and corrosion. This year, over 400,000 aluminum radiators will hit, corrode, and fail. Protect your car in the Prestone Zone. Prestone Antifreeze bonds with aluminum, forming the Prestone Zone of dual protection against corrosion and temperature extremes. This winter, don't put your car at risk. Protect it in the Prestone Zone.
Caesar's new pizza by the foot is radically different, so please observe a safe turning radius. No. Yes. Thank you and good luck. Little Caesar's new pizza by the foot is radically different, so please observe a safe turning radius. No. Yes. Thank you and good luck.
I don't think he was paying attention.
Pizza by the foot. Nearly 3 feet of pizza and free Italian bread, just $10.99. Carried out or have it delivered. Pizza, pizza.
Bullwinkle, we passed by here an hour ago.
Where's here? I thought we were there.
Bullwinkle.
Oh,
okay, that's enough TV for today.
Dad!
Let's go for a ride.
Yeah, come on, we're out of here.
Dad, where are we going? This better be good. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Oh, honey. See that? See?
That's cool.
When are we gonna be there?
Dad, stop! Wait! Dad, can we take him home?
Ford Explorer, because the world's too big to be left unexplored.
We're there.
Night Lights is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?
In case you didn't see Monday Night Football last night, no problem, no score. First quarter, Jeff Hostetler takes off running, and 5 yards later, it's 7-0 Raiders. Still first quarter, 3rd and 4, John Elway doing what he does best, scrambling. 17 yards, and he picks up a first down. 7 plays later, Elway scrambles again. But he finds Shannon Sharp deep and in the back of the end zone. When all is said and done, it's only a 10-yard TD pass, but it's good to tie it at 7. Second quarter, still tied at 7. Cole Ford trying to give the Raiders a lead. The field goal is good, but an illegal procedure penalty. Ford would try it again from 30 yards, and oh, those bases on balls. They'll kill you, those penalties. Al Davis's Raiders stung by penalties yet again. Fourth quarter, 16-7 Bronx. Hostetler will hit Derek Fenner on the screen pass, and he would go 16 yards for the touchdown. Raiders back to within 2, 16-14. On their next possession, Jeff Hostetler finds his favorite receiver. Tim Brown, 42 yards, wide open. Touchdown, Raiders, 21-16. But Elway brings the Broncos back one more time with the pump fake. That would open up Rod Smith. 49 yards later, the Broncos would miss a 2-point conversion, but still hold on to win it, 22-21. Robin.
Yet another comeback in John Elway's storied career, and Elway's having a career year. The Broncos are 8-1 for the first time since 1986. That year was the first of 3 trips to the Super Bowl in 4 years for Denver. The Broncos haven't been back since the '89 season, but now Elway in his 14th season has folks believing in the Broncos again. At 36 years of age, you would think John Elway is in the twilight of his career. But Monday night's fourth quarter come-from-behind win against the Raiders was the 35th of Elway's career and the 3rd time this season he's accomplished the feat.
When you get in those situations, you really don't hear the noise. You just got to figure out a way to get it done, and we did it again tonight.
I'm so used to it now, I'm really spoiled that, you know, there's a look in his eye with 5 minutes left. John says, hey, just give me a little time. Hey, let's take it one play at a time. Good things will happen.
Elway's late-game heroics have been well documented over the years, but in '96, it's Elway's overall play that have his Broncos sitting atop the AFC at 8-1. Elway is the AFC's highest-rated passer and second only to Brett Favre in the NFL. His 19 touchdown passes rank 3rd in the league, and his 2,180 yards passing ranked 5th. But Elway is quick to credit Denver's top-rated running game, especially second-year man Terrell Davis, the NFL's leading rusher, as a reason for the team's success.
He's just continued to get better and better, and as far as you know, I'm concerned, since I've been here, he's the best running back that I've played with. So, you know, and I've played with a lot of good backs.
The running game has taken the offensive focus off John Elway for the first time in his career. Elway can sit in the pocket and pick apart the secondary, and if needed, Elway can still scramble. He has rushed for 225 yards this season and is averaging nearly 6 yards per carry, his best as a pro.
Best quarterback in the league.
While Elway credits the running game, his teammates agree that the key to the Broncos' success still lies with John Elway.
I like our chances with John Elway. He's still the best quarterback, I think, in the league, and as long as we got him, we're going to find a way to win a football game.
Early in this year, people kind of tried to talk me into being old, and maybe to a point I got a little bit brainwashed until I finally put my foot down and said, I'm 36, and that's maybe old in football years, but I'm still a young man, and I'm going to go out and play my style and play like I always have, and when that doesn't work anymore, then I'll retire.
It's working, it's working. Elway has been incredible during the Broncos' current 5-game winning streak. Since Denver's loss to the Chiefs, their only defeat of the season, his quarterback rating has skyrocketed. He's also thrown for 9 more touchdowns over the last 5 games. Still to come here on SportsCenter, Patrick Ewing has to find a way to stop Shaquille O'Neal tonight. More on the Knicks and Lakers later. And next, the story of Dan Calloway, a youth sports director who gave money to current college players while they were high school recruits.
Are you still supporting kids at colleges?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
How many different colleges?
Oh, I would say at least 20. At least 20.
What if the NCAA knew about that?
What about me, none?
Honey, I've been thinking.
You're right.
I am?
We should get a brand new Mitsubishi big screen TV at Gabowitz. We wouldn't have to pay anything down, no interest, no monthly payments till January of '98. You're so good with numbers.
Well,
let's do it.
Yeah! Yeah!
Nuts. Your dream awaits at Gabowitz in East Brunswick.
ETD Discount Tire Centers. We are Discount Tires. At ETD Discount Tire Centers, we feature top name brand tires, plus smart service. With smart service, your automotive service work gets done right the first time. You pay for only what you authorize, and all services are backed by our written limited warranty. Your car is always ready when promised. This is our commitment to 100% customer satisfaction. ETD Discount Tire Center, located on Route 1 North, Monmouth Junction in South Brunswick, next to Major Car Wash and Mr. Goodloo.
Excuse me, God. Tell us about Larry Loretti. What inspired you to put him on the senior tour?
Well, you know how people say golfers are all alike. Peas in the same pod, cut from the same cloth. That got to be a bit.
So you made Larry a unique pea.
Right. The cheap stogie, living out of the motorhome thing. It's my way of saying all God's creatures are unique.
Am I unique?
No. Come on, I'm kidding. Can God kid?
The UMass Minutemen received a verbal commitment today from a West Virginia high school basketball standout. Rafael Cruz says he'll sign a letter of intent to play college ball at UMass. The 6'2" guard averaged 24 points last season. He also blocked 32 shots, had 77 steals, and 100 assists.
In the tangled web that passes for the rules and regulations of amateur status in the NCAA, how is it that some high school players can receive money during the college recruiting process and yet are still allowed to play college football, including some players at Florida, Miami, and Auburn? And how is it that someone named Dan Calloway can give away the money, and there is nothing the least bit illegal about doing it? That is the focus of this ESPN News investigative report by Jack Edwards, which is also tonight's cover story.
Dan Calloway has burned a loophole through the NCAA rulebook. Chosen as a community hero to carry the Olympic torch, Calloway carries on a personal crusade. He gives away money wherever he sees fit, much of it to football players. The sheriff's deputy has broken NCAA bylaws, says he is breaking them, and says he'll continue to break them.
I told the NCAA, I said, until you walk a mile in my shoes and understand that I'm holding kids who are dying in my arms, then you'll realize the only method that I got to stop that is to get them off into college, to get them some kind of modicum to degree of education.
In part because of Dan Calloway, Michigan State's football program is on NCAA probation through 1999. Georgia is under investigation. While the NCAA zeroes in on institutions, players who took money from Calloway continue to play for #1 Florida, 3 teams in the top 25, at least 5 schools overall. Calloway is entirely unapologetic.
Are you still supporting kids at colleges?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
How many different colleges?
Oh, I would say at least 20. At least 20.
What if the NCAA knew about that?
Okay. Doesn't bother me none.
Calloway is the athletic director of 2 Palm Beach County, Florida youth sports organizations, one funded publicly, one privately. He says he supervises 35,000 kids.
Tell us about some of the guys that you've helped, names that we'd recognize.
Well, started with Anthony Carter, Otis Anderson, Derek Harper, Jesse Hester, Lamar Parrish, and Michelle McGann.
Many around Palm Beach County call Calloway Pop or Dad. He fashions himself as a general manager of an all-star stable of talent.
This is his avocation, his interest. He gets the emotional satisfaction from helping kids and following teams. What's in it for you?
Nothing. Because this is what I've been doing all my life. This is my ministry. I don't know nothing else.
There's no indication that Calloway is in this for his personal gain.
Palm Beach County is one of college football's richest recruiting grounds. It also has areas of abject poverty.
Mr. Calloway had a lot of people in the community that he helped. I can remember several times that elderly women would not have money to pay their rent.
Newkirk began receiving Calloway's help during his senior season in high school after his mother died, leaving him an orphan. By that time, Michigan State coaches had established a relationship with Callaway.
There's no question. We found the NCAA ultimately determined that the action of the coaches made Callaway a representative.
Long-distance telephone records obtained by ESPN show that the Michigan State coaching staff made more than 90 calls to Callaway in a 2.5-year period ending in early 1995. Callaway helped arrange for Newkirk and 4 other high school recruits to make an unofficial visit to Michigan State. He gave them all cash and paid airfare and lodging, according to the Michigan State investigation. After Newkirk accepted a scholarship at Michigan State, Callaway sent him thousands of dollars in checks drawn on the account of his privately funded sports organization. The university blacked out Newkirk's name in the NCAA investigation exhibit. It did not black out the names of recruits appearing in the report who went on to attend other schools. Florida running back Fred Taylor told Michigan State investigators that he received as much as $9,000 from Callaway. Florida wide receiver Riedel Anthony said he received as much as $3,000 from Callaway. Callaway stopped giving them money when they chose a school he openly dislikes. You tell me if this is a fair characterization here. That you are big brother or father figure to some of these guys.
Yeah.
And you've told them there's only one thing that you can do to cross me.
Is to go to University of Florida. That's the only
And if you do that, you're cut off.
That's all.
Florida Athletic Director Jeremy Foley told ESPN, quote, "The NCAA has told us that there are no eligibility consequences with those young men pertaining to their participation at the University of Florida. The NCAA has found no institutional violations by Florida either." How far does Callaway's influence reach? According to investigations conducted by Michigan State and the NCAA, University of Miami linebacker Michael Smith and running back James Jackson received cash, airfare, lodging, and free tickets from Callaway to visit East Lansing. The University of Georgia has received an official NCAA letter of inquiry outlining a possible relationship between its now departed coaching staff and Callaway. Georgia investigators have interviewed former recruits Martavius Houston and Eric Lowe, both of whom play for Auburn now. Callaway identified both as having received cash. Where does the money come from? As a sheriff's deputy, Callaway makes less than $60,000 per year. Do you get any financial help from guys who've made it to the big time?
We should stay away from that. Michelle McGann, I'm going to say Michelle McGann. Michelle McGann is my lifeline. And Derek. Now I'll leave it at that.
But so what you're saying is there might be other guys who contribute, but they don't want their names known?
Yeah.
Because it's private?
Yeah.
Some of Callaway's money comes from individuals with school ties.
Ron Sellers will support me in anything I do. And just like and Tucker Pedersen at Auburn.
Both live in Palm Beach County. Sellers, a former NFL player, Florida State alumnus, and a member of Seminole Boosters, Inc., declined an interview with ESPN on this subject. Fredrickson, the one-time New York Giant, is a member of the Auburn Letterman Club, but says he has given money to Callaway's youth sports organizations as a civic booster, not a college booster.
But I've called friends and said, look, this is the right thing to do. Let's help out. And my checks have been written directly to local recreational entities and not directly to Dan Callaway. So I feel comfortable to say that that money was used for the purposes that Callaway said they were going to be used for.
Neither Auburn's nor Florida State's program faces sanctions for any connection to Callaway, according to the athletic directors of those schools. No investigation ever has revealed a money trail from any school to Callaway. He raises funds, then gives athletes money and advice. Individual athletes can lose NCAA amateur status even when they're still in high school. Any student athlete taking a benefactor's money risks his NCAA eligibility unless the benefactor also is giving money to students who are not athletes. We asked Callaway for names of non-athlete students to whom he had given money. He gave us two. One turned out to be his niece, the other a scholarship softball player. So it appears that the only students to whom Callaway has given money are athletes. We interviewed the NCAA on this subject October 18th. If a community leader is giving money that goes virtually only to athletes or exclusively to athletes, and high school student athletes accept that money, are they compromising their college eligibility?
Yes, we do have an NCAA rule in place that says if an individual, because of athletics reputation or skill, does accept preferential treatment, benefits, or services from the community or from an outside organization because of their athletic skill or reputation, they would jeopardize their eligibility under our amateurs and regulations.
Regardless of where the athlete ends up going to college, which may even be against the advice of the benefactor?
That's correct. If they choose to go to an NCAA collegiate institution, it would carry with them for any NCAA college.
On Tuesday and Wednesday, NCAA enforcement told ESPN that amateurism, as it related to the Michigan State investigation, was a new issue. Early Wednesday, ESPN contacted athletic directors at Florida, Auburn, and Miami. They all said their athletes were in the clear. Then on Thursday, Yamayanis called ESPN to say that upon further consideration, amateurism was no issue at all. Why did the NCAA change what it was saying? Because, Yamayanis said, this is an issue of either amateurism or recruiting, but it cannot be both. This either-or policy means that no athlete involved in a recruiting investigation even can have his amateur status examined, no matter how much money he may have taken in the recruiting violation. Asked where that stance is supported in the 579-page NCAA manual, Yamayanis said she didn't know if it was. This, to me, sounds as if it is a perfect loophole, because if you have a high school athlete who pretty much in his mind knows where he wants to go to school and knows he's going to get a scholarship offer there, and he's got 4 other official recruiting trips that he can take, well, let's say he just cultivates a nice relationship with 4 sugar daddy boosters, takes, let's say, $3,000 from each of the schools that he's visiting. What you're saying is that as long as he doesn't take money from a representative of the athletic interests of the school in which he does enroll, that he can pocket the 12 grand and go ahead and play football. Because that's exactly what's going on here with the Florida players.
Well, I don't know if that's...
But that's the practical application of this law. Because Riedel Anthony took $3,000, admitted that to Michigan State investigators, and Fred Taylor took $9,000 and admitted that to Michigan State investigators. And Rich Hilliard told us directly that there was no partial or full immunity or amnesty in connection with the Michigan State case. And these guys are now playing for the University of Florida.
I think that's exactly right.
So what are the consequences for taking money from Dan Calloway? As long as you don't go to Michigan State or possibly Georgia, the 2 schools with which the NCAA associates Calloway, there are no consequences at all. In Palm Beach County, Florida, Jack Edwards, ESPN.
And now this follow-up. Riedel Anthony caught a couple of touchdown passes for Florida on Saturday. He leads the country with 12 of them. The NCAA has cleared the programs at Florida, Auburn, and Miami in connection with the Callaway case, but in the Georgia program, it's still being looked at because his staff may have used Callaway in some of the ways Michigan State did. Robin.
Still to come, both the Lakers and the Knicks are undefeated so far this season. We'll have more on their matchup tonight in the Garden later. And coming up next, this little Indian lost his home on the mound in Cleveland. Details when SportsCenter rolls on in a moment.
At Plymouth, quality is the top priority for every one of our vehicles. We've set hundreds of goals and benchmarks, and we're constantly looking for ways to improve. Because our goal is to provide the highest quality in every vehicle we build.
Style, sophistication, the ability to launch napalm into oncoming traffic. If these are the things you look for in an automobile, it's time you test drive Twisted Metal 2. Fully automated weaponry, dual rocket launchers, and the new APS flamethrowing system. All standard. Drive the 1997 Twisted Metal 2 on PlayStation from Sony, and let style be your weapon.
You got
gotta get me out of here. This is not a nice place. Picking up bad habits, Mom. They're making me do bad things. Will you blind out of my face? They're even trying to change the way I look. They can't get any worse than this. I said you got the wrong number, chump.
Oh, Granty. Baby, are you... Meet George, your new personal trainer.
Nice to meet you.
Not nice.
Not nice. That's right. Not nice.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Little Caesars Pizza, where you get great taste at a great price. Pizza, pizza.
Tomorrow on Up Close, Bernie Williams, the Yankee center fielder who seemed to be in the middle of everything for the World Series champions this year. And tomorrow you can hear all about it on Up Close at 6 Eastern, immediately preceding SportsCenter.
Cleveland has decided to buy out pitcher Kent Merker's contract instead of exercising a $3.3 million option for next season. Merker, disappointing 4-6 with a 6.89 ERA, splitting time with the Orioles and the Indians. He was among 4 players who filed for free agency yesterday.
And if you're just joining us, here are the top 3 stories tonight on SportsCenter. The Lakers and the Knicks at the Garden. Shaq and Ewing go at it man-to-man tonight. In Phoenix, the Cardinals have lost quarterback Kent Graham for about a month, maybe more, with a torn knee ligament. And it's the end of the line for Stefan Edberg. The farewell tour is now over. Well, forget the notion that Tommy Morrison's going to fight George Foreman next year in Australia. That's not to say they won't fight, but it won't be in Australia. The president of the Australian Boxing Federation says all fighters in his country must pass a blood test. And if they don't get a license. If they don't get a license, they don't fight. Which is his way of telling Tommy Morrison, good day, mate. Our coverage of the Tyson-Holyfield brouhaha begins tomorrow on SportsCenter, 6:30 Eastern Time. Mark Schwartz, Al Bernstein, and John Saraceno will be joining me in Las Vegas. We'll have the weigh-in live 6:30 Eastern on Friday, and all the pre- and post-fight analysis on Saturday night. Tyson-Holyfield fight coverage. Where else are you going to go? And still ahead on this edition of SportsCenter, Vinny Testaverde's found himself a home in Baltimore. His future with the Ravens is about to be determined. And later, James Carville will report on the Redskins' unexpectedly good season. And yeah, it's that James Carville's going to do the reporting for us.
The first thing she said was, Mommy, I've never seen the clouds from the top before. Flying for our daughter came sooner than any of us expected.
Hey, you get to go on first.
They said she needed some tests in Boston. We didn't know how we were going to pay for the flight. Then our doctor told us about this thing called Miles for Kids in Need. It's an American Airlines program where people donate some of their frequent flyer miles, and American picks up the rest. I hear they've helped thousands of kids. You know, I really wasn't sure how she'd take to the idea of flying, but she loves it. She can't wait to get up there again, where she says the sun is always shining and the sky is always blue.
When it comes to live entertainment, you got dinner theater, that performance art hippie crap, and NCAA basketball on ESPN. College basketball on ESPN. College basketball on ESPN. All the excitement of Vegas, but without some bellhop bugging you for a tip. NCAA basketball on ESPN. Every game counts. Capiche? Every game counts.
Good news tonight for cyclist Lance Armstrong. He's out of the hospital following brain surgery and chemotherapy. And doctors say his cancer is regressing rapidly and exceeding expectations. 25-year-old Armstrong will spend the next 2 weeks at home regaining his strength before he undergoes a 3rd round of chemotherapy treatments. Doctors have given Armstrong a 65 to 85% chance of making a full recovery. Rob.
Instead of answering questions about their upcoming game against Notre Dame, Boston College is being questioned about gambling allegations involving some of the school's football players. An NCAA investigator traveled to B.C. today for some answers. Bonnie Bernstein has the latest from Chestnut Hill.
Still no comment out of the Middlesex County District Attorney's Office, but a law enforcement source tells ESPN the DA is leaning away from pressing criminal charges against the 4 football players initially named in the gambling rumors. Now, if in fact that is the case, this situation here at BC will become solely a matter of NCAA bylaws.
We have looked at Rule 10.3, and 10.3 absolutely prohibits any type of betting by any football player who belongs to that type of organization. Now, you could bet on a horseshoe race, and that would be a technical violation of the law.
Rule 10.3 is broken down into 4 sections. Basically, players are prohibited from providing information for games, taking money on games, or actually betting on college or pro contests either on a parlay card or through a bookie or any organized form of gambling.
And there are going to be some individuals here that are going to live with some kind of a problem if they have bet on a game. That's not my major concern. My major concern is if anybody on our football team has bet on our game and against us, that's an indefensible position.
Working together to fix the game is a major problem, and that could result in jail. Betting on a college game that is unrelated to anything that these football players are doing now is something that is far less important, albeit a technical infraction and something that could lead to some type of disciplinary action by the NC2A people, but in the overall scheme of things, not likely to result in, number 1, jail time, number 2, expulsion, or number 3, protracted suspension.
Expulsion and jail time could result from something more serious, like a point shaving or game-fixing scandal. But at this point, it does not appear investigators have any evidence pointing in that direction. In Chestnut Hill, Bonnie Bernstein, ESPN.
All right, Bonnie, thank you very much. Earlier in the week, the odds makers in Nevada had taken this Saturday's contest between Notre Dame and Boston College off the boards. Today, both Harris and Reno have the Irish as a 22-point favorite on the road.
Still ahead on SportsCenter, LJ is doing okay in New York, where the Knicks host Shaq and the Lakers tonight. We'll have a report coming up from the Garden. But up next, Jerome Bettis having such a sensational season in Pittsburgh, he may not come back again. The story from Inside the Huddle.